Back. In this video, we'll continue talking about options, chapter 15, no mini exercise, but let's get back into defining features of options and computing payoffs some more. So we already talked about the payoff of a long call option, right? And the profit and loss. Let's look at another example where this first example, suppose we own an option, right? We have a long call option giving us the right to buy a share of stock for $100 a share. When the option expires, if the ending stock price is 108, right, a call option's payoff is the greater of either the difference between the stock price and the strike price, right? 108 minus 100 or 0. Whichever of these is greater, that's the call option payoff, right? In this case, this option has a positive payoff. It's in the money when call options are in the money when the stock price is greater than the strike price, which is the case with this first example. So this option's payoff is $8, right? 108 minus 100 is the option's payoff. When the option on the expiration date, if we exercise the option and buy a share of stock for $100, and then we can turn around and sell it in the market for 108, then we've earned a payoff of $8. Okay. In terms of profit and loss, if we paid $5 for an option like that, our option's profit and loss would be the payoff, $8, minus the price that we paid for the option, the call option, $5. So the profit and loss would be $3. You can find the details in the notes section of the PowerPoint, but hopefully the intuition makes sense if you go over it a couple times. This next example is a call option where we pay $2 for it. That's the price of the call option. And then the strike price, we have the option to purchase a share of stock for $40 a share. But when the option expires, the price is only $35. So if we were to exercise this option, it would have a negative payoff, right? We would exercise an option and pay $40 for something that's only worth $35 if we turned around and sold it. So this option is out of the money when the strike price is greater than the stock price for a call option. The option is out of the money, right? Because this term here, 35 minus 40, that's -5. Right? Obviously, 0 is greater than -5. So the payoff of this call option is 0, since we would not exercise it. We would just let it expire worthless. And we would lose some money in reality on this. If we paid $2 for a call option and didn't exercise it and it just expired, our loss would be $2, right? So a couple examples, one with an in-the-money call option, one with an out-of-the-money call option. And let's jump ahead and look at a call options payoff pattern where, first of all, here's the profit and loss for just owning a stock, right? If we buy a share of stock for $50 a share, if the price goes up to 60, our profit is $10, right? Price goes up to 70, our profit is $20, and so on. If the stock price goes down, our profit is negative, right? We lose money. Contrast that with a call option payoff diagram, which is kind of asymmetric, right? Where when a call option is in the money, if we buy an option with a call option with a strike price of $50, as the stock price goes above 50, the payoff is positive, right? The option is in the money. If the stock price goes up to $60, our payoff is $10. And then if the stock price is less than the exercise price, less than the strike price, right, we wouldn't exercise an option with a negative payoff. I hope you never do something like that. So the payoff is just 0 because we wouldn't exercise an option like that. If we add to this the price that we pay for a call option, right, if we pay for an option to purchase a share of stock, suppose we pay $4 for an option like this, here's what the profit and loss diagram looks like. It's just shifted down by the price of the option, right? So if we buy a call option with a strike price of $50 and we pay $4 for it, we don't start making a profit on our option investment until the stock price goes above the strike price plus the option price, right? If the stock price goes above 54, then this is a profitable option, okay? And then if the stock price is less than the strike price, we lose $4 because we just wouldn't exercise the option and we're out the price of the option when it expires. So let's take a look at put options now. If I own a put option, right, that's the right to sell a share of stock at a certain price over a specified time period. And why don't we make a little diagram with a put option. suppose, and it looks kind of the same if we graph a stock's price over time. Right? Suppose we own a put option with a strike price of $100, meaning we have the right to sell a share of stock for $100 over some specified time period. Suppose this is the expiration date, right? And suppose the stock price is like equal to $100 right now. And then over time, it goes up and down, right? And then suppose the stock on the expiration date, suppose the stock price is something like $75. So now, if we own a put option, we have the right to sell this share of stock on the expiration date for $100 a share, right? And the market price is only $75 a share. So if I own this option at the expiration date, what I would do is buy a share of stock on the open market for $75, then turn around and exercise the option, right? And agree to sell that share of stock to the option counterparty, the person that sold me the option, for $100, and I'd make $25. So you earn money on an option, a put option, when the stock price goes down, right? So a put option is one way to bet that a stock price will decline. So if the exercise price ends up greater than the stock price, right, the opposite of a call option, then the payoff is positive. Let's see how that looks with a couple examples. So if we own a put option, we have the right to sell a share of stock for $60 over some specified time period. When the option expires, suppose the stock price is 67. So what is the payoff? Well, if we were to exercise the put option and sell the share of stock for $60, right, we'd have to buy it on the open market for 67 and then turn around and sell it for 60. So we would lose $7. It would be a -7 payoff if we exercise this option. So we shouldn't, right? The max of the strike price minus the stock price and 0 is 0, right? We wouldn't exercise an option like this. 60 minus 67 is -7. It's better to just let the option expire worthless. So the payoff is 0 in this first example. And then the profit and loss, if you pay $4 for the option to sell the share of stock, then our profit and loss is -4, right? We lost $4 on this option investment. One more example. Suppose we own a put option and we paid $9 for it. Here's the strike price, right? If the stock price is less than the strike price on expiration date, then the payoff would be $30, right? I have the option to sell something for $200 that's worth only $170 in the open market right now. So if I buy a share of stock for $170, turn around and sell it for $200 at expiration, I have a payoff of $30, right? The put options are in the money when the strike price is greater than the stock price. So the payoff is $30, and then the profit and loss in this option investment would be 30, the payoff, minus the price we paid for the option, 9. $21 would be the payoff, or the profit and loss in this case. So let's look at the payoff and profit and loss of a put option. Right? So when the stock price goes less than the strike price, that's when put options are in the money and the payoff is positive. And then contrast that, and then if we compare that to the profit and loss diagram, suppose we paid $4 for an option with a strike price, an exercise price of $50. Right? If the price goes up, if the stock price goes up, the put option is out of the money. We shouldn't exercise our right to sell something for a lower price than what we would pay for it. But as the stock price declines, right, then put options start to make money, and it would become a profitable option investment once we get to a stock price of the strike price minus the option price, right? Once the stock price goes below 46, then we've got a positive profit. So long as the option, so long as the stock price is less than the strike price, right? So long as the stock price is less than 50, we should exercise the option at expiration, right? The stock price ends up at 48. We would lose $2 on our option investment, but we should still exercise because we'd have a payoff of $2 and then a price of $4, so we'd have a loss of $2, but we should still exercise. So a put option, if we own a put option, that's a way to bet that a stock price will decline. In the next video, let's take a look at written call and put options, and then also take a look at a basic option strategy and talk a little more about trading. So thanks for tuning in. See you in the next video.